Hello, and welcome to another episode of Detroit Medical Center Black History Month Moments. I'm Tanita Cheatham. I'm so happy you're here with us today. Once again, we're going to honor one of our employees that works so hard here at the DMC to continue the mission of the DMC of being a community built on care. With us today is Anthony Gibson, the Chief Human Resource Officer at Children's Hospital of Michigan. How are you today? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Tanita. It's been an honor.
Oh my God, I'm so honored to meet you. This is our first time really kind of connecting and meeting with each other because you're relatively new at the DMC. How's it going?
It's been a fantastic experience. I've really enjoyed meeting everyone and understanding the mission and really the history of the DMC here and the value that it adds to the community. And to be a part of that experience is enriching to me as a person and as well as to my career aspirations. I really am privileged to work with some great clinicians and some great non-clinicians to bring expert care here in the Detroit metro area. So it's just an honor.
So tell us a little bit more about
you. Well, I'm a native of Gary, Indiana, born and raised, went off to school at IU, and I then got called into ministry. So I have a role in that. I'm very involved in our church ministry, the AME Zion Church. Then got into human resources, did some work in that, and then I wanted to pair human resources practice with human resources theory. So I went back and did some advanced degree work in that. I pair ministry and human resources together because it's about people. Ministry is about people, and human resources is about people. And I've always felt a call based on how my grandmother raised me to make sure that you do two things with your life. One, preserve your name. All your family can give you is your name. Make sure you honor that name. And then two, do something with your life that's going to help somebody else, because everybody has gotten to where they are because somebody else helped them. Make sure you do the same.
I love how you feel that your faith fuels the work that you do. That is fascinating. But it makes me prompt a question. For you, what was a defining moment for you, either in your career or personal life?
I guess it was my call into preaching ministry. That was the defining moment. I know who at that time in my life, I was 21. I know, how 21-year-olds think and what we do when we're 21. And I just really resisted and said, God, you got to call somebody else. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to be the next Peter Jennings. When he retires from ABC News, I'm going to take his place in the anchor chair at ABC News because my undergraduate degree was in journalism. I could just hear him speaking to me, Tonita, just as clear as you're speaking to me. That's not what I have for you. And so that was one of the various, but I think that was the pinnacle defining moment in understanding what my purpose was, and that was fulfill my call to ministry.
So let me flip back to the other side that you spoke so well about, and that's the education piece. What role has education played for you?
It's been absolutely a game changer. I was raised in a home that my grandmother always told me, you're going to college, you're going to college. No one in our family had gone to college, and she had just put that in me that I was going to college. And here's how I majored in journalism. So when my grandmother would have her friends over, I would always eavesdrop. When they were having their conversations, I'd always be listening in, and she'd be like, oh, you're so nosy, stop doing that. And one time she was speaking to me and she said, you ought to find a career where they pay you to be nosy. And I took that to be maybe journalism, because I get to ask people, why did you do this? What happened? When did it happen? What's the outcome of it? And so that prompted me to be in journalism. And so education has just opened so many doors for me, Tanita, just in ministry, in secular workforce, in consulting that I do, and just enriching me as a person. I can add to the conversation of human resources practitioners, of journalism practitioners, of ministry practitioners. I get to sit at the table and bring value to those discussions, and that's because of what education has contributed to me as a person.
Do you mentor?
I have about 14 mentees.
Oh, the answer is yes.
Yes, and they're in ministry. And they're also in HR, and then they're also in the academy. I am an adjunct professor as well. And so I have two that I'm mentoring there. And mentoring is work if you're going to do it right. Because when people come and they share with you their celebrations of things they've done well and things that they have accomplished, you want to really be in that moment with them and celebrate with them. And also when they're challenged by an issue at work, you really want to be able to listen to them and provide them and pour into them guidance to help them make the right decisions and to help them talk through making the right decisions. As a mentor, I don't try to make the decisions for my mentees. I try to help them talk through what they believe is the right decision.
What has been your most consistent piece of advice or wisdom given to your mentees?
I would have to say something that I say often to my mentees is, if it is illegal, immoral, or unethical, don't do it. I don't care who asks you to. I don't care what you can get from doing it, because if you do, you compromise who you are and you compromise those looking to you for leadership.
So your education, your faith, your mentorship, all fuel you, and you can see that all over you.
Thank you.
This being Black History Month, in honor of that, tell us, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Black History Month has a meaning to me in terms of personally and how I have been impacted by what I have seen and contributed to Black history from people like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and others who have given really the ultimate sacrifice for others. I've seen and appreciate Black history in its blending into the American history, because our story is not singular in nature. We are part of this great melting pot called America. And so I have an appreciation for that. And so when I think about those two, I think Black history means to me, one, to appreciate the legacy that I have been entrusted with. So many people have sacrificed and lost and been spit on and had water hoses poured on them and dogs biting them and wrestled down from counters, lunch counters. I should never forget that. And I have a responsibility to teach my children and my granddaughter about the sacrifices those people made for me. And then I have a responsibility for Black history to make sure that I become an oracle to speak truth to power, where there is injustice, where there is mistreatment, where there is oppression. I'm called to speak out against that and to make a stand for that for the future generations to come, whether they're Black, white, red, green, gay, straight, whatever. And then I think finally, because I do love this country and I am proud to be an American, I think that every American is called to contribute to this great moment that we codify as Black history, to make sure that our country lives into perpetuity. We have a responsibility to ensure the words of Francis Scott Key ring true. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And what a wonderful note to end this wonderful conversation on. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
Well, there you go. Another wonderful interview showcasing another wonderful, spirit-filled, and energetic employee of the Detroit Medical Center. I am so enjoying doing these messages, and I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for listening to us. Until next time, this has been a DMC Black History Month moment.